Hey, are you guys ready to like break through on all these crazy dating obstacles? The other day, we had a great conversation during our virtual mingle. And one of the topics that I had asked our group was to share what are two things they loved about dating and one thing that is just driving them crazy and wish people would get better about. Well, I'm Jacqueline Nichols, and I am the founder and creator of Discover Love Matches. And I have been matching and working with singles for over 10 years. Actually, it's getting closer to 11 years now. How crazy is that? And I have definitely heard it all, I've seen it all, and I have been amazed at certain things that are continuing in the dating world and certain things that have been getting better. So I wanted to bring up some of these topics, and we're going to do a few videos on this. So I'm not going to be able to cover it all, but I want you to start thinking about what you think. What are two things that you really like about dating right now? And what is something that you wish would just get better? And add it to the comments below. I'm very curious where everybody is on their dating journey and what their thoughts are about the dating process. And when I started being a matchmaker, we only had a couple dating sites, and we sure as heck didn't have dating apps. So a lot has evolved, but the human spirit and communication has and sometimes been a little slow, not to mention that it can be really difficult dating in an internet world. And so one thing that really was very much acknowledged by the group was ghosting. And one of the guys was shocked when we said this phrase. He was like, what does that mean? And then he said, oh my gosh, I think I'm guilty of that, not knowing what he was doing was actually ghosting people because we don't know how to respond if we're not interested. So for those of you that are not aware what ghosting means, it is when you are talking with somebody, going on a date with somebody, maybe you've had intimacy with someone, and then you just don't do anything to follow up and let them know, I appreciate meeting you, but I'm not interested. I'm a huge person on communication. Everybody in my agency knows you follow up, you do respond, you do acknowledge, even if you're not interested. And our group is so respectful. If you email someone and say, hey, thanks so much, I really appreciate you reaching out, but I'm not interested, then they're great. But I do know that on a lot of dating apps, somebody will then use that as an opportunity to justify or explain or try to convince you why you need to give them a chance. And I think this is where ghosting can get complicated. It's hard to explain to someone that you just had a great date with that you really don't want to go out again. Just because you had fun, just because you enjoyed yourself, doesn't mean you are obligated to go out again. But it does mean that you do owe that person and yourself a level of respectful communication. What this is doing is setting you up for a positive opportunity where the other person can move on and stop wondering what if, stop running the crazy stories. I mean, you know, the times that you've had that really great kiss at the end of a date and you just feel like, oh my gosh, the butterflies are going, this is great. But sometimes you don't hear back from them and then you wonder what happened. It would be really helpful for honest communication to let you know what the heck happened, you know, what is going on. Because I will tell you, in years of doing this, I will get feedback from both people. The guy and the gal on this date will often tell me about two different dates. It's like, okay, were you guys at the same place, same time? You actually went out with the same person, because communication is not getting the same response as anticipated. And this is what we really need to stop and think about. We need to be clear and concise, respect the other person's feelings, but also understand that sometimes we need to let it go. It's not going to happen. If the person is interested in going out with you, they will let you know. Now, there are times when communication technology fails, so it's okay to check in and say, hey, that was a great date. I thought we were going to go out again. I haven't heard from you, so just want to make sure you're okay. If somebody ever sends you that message and you ghosted them, you darn well better follow up. Even if you are confused, you deserve to have some answers. So let the person know, you know, I'm not sure if we're really a match. I didn't want to mislead you, but I really did have a good time. Let the person know you enjoyed their company, because then they're thinking, what happened? I like the kiss. I like the conversation. I like the laughter. Did I read you completely wrong? The reality is that we can have really great times with someone, but that doesn't mean that there's someone that we can build a future with. And that's the hard, honest truth. So what I found from our group was that people don't want ghosting. They just want some information. They want better communication. They want to feel like they can and trust the other person. So you need to set a precedence for your own trusting and that you are somebody of your word. I know sometimes you have to cancel plans, sometimes things have to change. And yes, it's difficult to understand where the other person's coming from, but we also just have to be authentically ourselves, because I can tell you what you do to others can sometimes come back and bite you. So let's work on these aspects, and then also work on the things that you really enjoy. Some things that popped up when people were talking is that they love meeting new people. They love learning more about themselves when they're dating, which I think is one of the key things. We can only get so much out of a date, but we can look back and say, hey, was I present? Was I engaged? Was I doing eye contact? Was I participating? Was I being open-minded? You know, ask yourself things, because every chance you have to meet a new person, to go on a date, is an opportunity to find the love of your life. But if you're not in it, if you're not communicating, if you've got such a box around what you're willing to discover, then you're denying yourself the chance to meet somebody very, very lovely and amazing. I want you to encourage yourself to find the positivity, find reasons to be excited about dating, because when you show up for a date and you're super, super excited, you're going to realize that everybody responds differently to you because you were in a better place. If you were in a position where you're kind of cold and you know you just kind of have rest and bitch face, no one's going to be that excited to meet you, and neither is the puppy that's sitting next to me, because he doesn't like that either. So we have to show up for what we want, we have to show up for what we care about, and then we will find that we will attract the right people. As a professional matchmaker, I can tell you it's not about quantity dating, it's about quality. You show up with the right attitude, you're positive, you don't look to nitpick and interrupt people and say things that you know you want to find negative. Instead, you look to listen, you look to hear where they're coming from. Maybe they're talking too fast. I know I do it sometimes when I get nervous or overexcited. That doesn't mean a negative, that means a positive. But we have to give the person a chance to evolve in the situation and let their layers be revealed. Well, there's so much we can talk about when it comes to dating. So I want to encourage and support you on your love journey to keep moving forward, keep getting out there, because there really are amazing people to discover. I am Jacqueline, and we will continue this conversation again very soon. I look forward to supporting you every step of the way.